Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Today I would like to present in the International Conference on Intellectual Advancements organized by Islamic University of Maldives on the topic about excel today's intellectual advancement through Muslim contribution in science and civilizations and Islamic intellectual analysis. As you know, in order to present this topic, we have to look to the history, especially about the modern intellectual advancements. As you know, in this conference, attempts will be made to make sure that the Muslim intellectual advancement in the high positions, and for these reasons, we as a Muslim not only just to look what's happened today, but at the same time also we have to look to the history, Islamic science, Islamic philosophy in order to develop, in order to establish Muslim intellectual advancements. This actually has been acknowledged by the Western civilization as well, by Western scientists, by the philosophers, by historians, regarding about the importance to integrate the science or the knowledge, the intellectual of the past with today's advance. For example, if I can mention to you here, the scholars like Thomas Kuhn, Paul Feyerabend, Joseph Needham, as well as Martin Bernal, who acknowledge about the birth of modern science is the result of the integrations of the previous civilizations, including also Islamic civilizations with today's intellectual effort or advancement. So for me, as I mentioned to you, to focus about the contribution of the Muslim in the past that we have to take into considerations in order to advance our intellectual in the light of Sharia, or what we call Islamic law. No doubt what we call participate in the intellectual culture and appreciate its value must be a basic and very important in order to widen our thinkings, our knowledge, and finally able to develop our intellectual discourse. As you see in the history, there are tolerance between the Muslim and non-Muslim in order to find out something new, especially once the Muslim rulers established Baitul Al-Hikmah as the center to transmit or translate the book of Greek as well as another civilization book into Arabic, by which become very important means in order to what we call develop our mindset. And as you know, this research is what we call based on textual analysis, by which we are going to look to several writing of the Muslim in the past in order to see its strength, and then as the mean to develop our modern civilizations, especially among the Muslim. So for these reasons, when we come to the result and discussions, I would like to introduce the ideas of the prominent figures in Islamic science and civilizations for the advancement of modern intellectual science as well as the civilization. Among the most important one, for example, maybe we have to look to what has been contributed by Abu Yusuf Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Kindi, who died in 871 of Christian era, who established or re-established the value of philosophy in harmony with the religion. Maybe the philosophy in the past before Al-Kindi, especially among the Greek, they are purely based on the intellectual or the rational, which sometimes against with the religions. In this case, one of the very important contributions of Al-Kindi is try to harmony with the religions. So in this case, he is success to do that. Because as you know, in the Islam religions, as when we say the religion here refer to Islam is the way of life, it is considered as a divine science, and in this result, Al-Kindi was regarded as the first philosopher for the first philosophy. He also wrote the book Fi Ma'rifatu Quwwatu Al-Adwiyah Al-Murakkabah, the knowledge of density and the quality of compound drug. So in regarding about the pharmacy, pharmaceutical science, so we have to take into consideration this book because study so many things about the simple as well as the compound drug. And then he also tried to solve the problem, what we call the unhappiness or what we call sorrows through his book Fi Al-Hila Lidafu Al-Ahzan. I think he produced very important means in order to tackle with these kinds of the sorrow or the happiness, including also what we call in today's life. And no doubt the next contributors go to Abu Zaid Hunain Ibn Ishaq al-Ibadi. This is very important figures because he is the one who responsible to translate the science and civilizational books from Greek into Arabic, and finally able to understand better and better about science, and then try to integrate with Islam. So in this regard, he is the one who wrote a risalah known as Risalah Hunain Ibn Ishaq ila Ali Ibn Yahya fi dhikru ma turjim min kutub Jalinus bi ilmihi wa ba'du ma lam yutarjim. This is a very important book because Hunain himself tried to list down the book which has been translated from the writing of the Galens or Jalinus, known in Arabic as Jalinus, and being widely spread amongst Islamic civilization, and understand better and better about what we call the concept of philosophy among the Greek, the concept of medicines among the Greek, especially what has been contributed by Hippocrates, Dioscorides, Galens, and so on. And the next figure which I would like to mention here is Abu Hanifa Ad-Dinawari, who wrote the book Kitab An-Nabat, the book of the plants. So meaning that he is the one who tried to classify the plant into three groups. Firstly, plant part which may be used for the food as a diet, and secondly, wild plants, and thirdly, plants with nutritive fruit. So this is the basic idea, basic classification in regarding about the classification of the plant. This is maybe the manuscript which what we can reflect about what has been attempted by him in his book Kitab An-Nabat. And Ishaq Ibn Ali Ar-Ruwahi, he is among the most important figures who wrote the book about Adabu At-Tabib, medical ethics. And this book, alhamdulillah, has been translated by the Western scholars, Levin Marty, and then I try also to translate into Malay with the title Adab At-Tabib Ar-Ruhawi. Here you can find, and surely we can see so many significant findings which has been found by Ar-Ruhawi. Sabi Ibn Qurrah and his family members also contribute so many things in regarding about medical science, especially through his book Kitab Fi Maratib Qira'at Al-Ulum. This may be considered as the classification of the knowledge, and maybe known as Maratib Al-Ulum, try to give the rank of the knowledge, because we have to put everything at the right place, as including also the knowledge or the intellectual. Abu Hasan Ahmad At-Tabari, also very important figures, because he's the one who tried to understand what has been written by Hippocrates, and then try to harmony with the religions. This is the medical book with the title Al-Mu'alajat Al-Ibuqratiyah. Al-Ibuqratiyah refer to Hippocrates, which is considered as among the very important or prominent founders of the Greek medical science. So in this book, he tried to give also the meaning of good health and so on. And the next one is Abu Isa bin Yahya al-Masihi al-Jurjani with the book Kitab Al-Mi'ah fi At-Tib. So he tried to give what we call 100 chapter. There is Al-Mi'ah, is referred to 100 issues related to medicines. So you see, the Muslims are very concerned in all aspects and try to study as much as possible. But in this case, maybe he choose number 100. So maybe for the Muhaddisun, they choose the number 40, right? Like for example, what has been compiled by Imam An-Nawawi in Al-Ahadith Al-Arba'in. And Ibn Sina, of course, this is among the very popular medical doctors during Islamic civilizations, who died in 1037 of Christian era, and then he known as the chief master. No doubt his book Al-Qanun fi Al-Atib, the Qanun of Medicines, and Al-Adibiyah Al-Qalbiyah on the cordial pleasant drugs become very important book in order to understand better and better about the laws that related to the medicines. And the another one, Ibn Al-Haytham. This is the person who know what we call introduce the theory related to the optic, which is considered as the foundations for the science of the optical theories today. Abu Bakar Zakaria Ar-Razi, no doubt this is very important person also, and what we call, to the extent that Saturn in his book Introduction to the History of Science decide to call him as the period of Ar-Razi. That means what has been contributed in that time, in his time, even though by many Muslim scholars, but of course the knowledge has been conquered by the idea of Abu Bakar Zakaria Ar-Razi, especially through his book Al-Hawi fi Atib, and this is among the book which has been listed by Ibn An-Nadim in his Al-Mu'jam Al-Mufaharas. At the same time also, one of the very important book, Kitab Al-Sirru Al-Asrar. This is sometimes related to chemistry, and Alhamdulillah this book has been translated and discovered by Professor Ruska, and he give also introductions and then translated into German. And then so many what we call non-Muslim scholars try to understand something that related to Kitab Sirru Al-Asrar. So because I'm sure, try to understand the secret behind everything. So maybe this book as one of the very important writing that we have to study, understand, and then finally try to find out the finding in order to develop our intellectual advancement. No doubt, one of the very important book written by Abu Bakar Zakaria Ar-Razi is Al-Hawi fi Atib. So this is related to the medicines, related to healing art, and then this is very comprehensive one. And according to Al-Biruni, he lists down what we call the book which has been written by Abu Bakar Zakaria Ar-Razi. So many books. The book also comprehends not only about medicine, but also including about natural sciences, about logic, about mathematics, astronomy, commentaries and summaries of the previous book, philosophy, metaphysics, theology, chemistry. This is maybe heretical book, controversial book, and then various art. Maybe this is the number from number 1 until number 184 book. So meaning that he wrote the book around 184 titles, something like that. And no doubt we have to see also the lessons behind the history of Islamic science and civilizations for the advancement of the modern intellectual science and civilization. For example, we know that in order to have the modern civilization that we have today, they also what we call they also have to manage their history, and finally there are so many stages or many phases. Maybe the first phase there is a Reconquista, and the second phase known as European Renaissance, mechanical, and the next one mechanical philosophy, empiricism, heliocentrism, and finally advanced instruments. So now we are today with the advanced instrument. In order to have the advanced instrument here, no doubt we have to pass and then have the experience, go through several phases, And no doubt, regarding about the Muslim contribution in this case, if we look to what has been contributed, Imam Al-Ghazali, as well as Ibn Shatir, as well as another Muslim scholar, which I already mentioned to you, we found that the finding has been found by the Western scholar, especially by the Brahe, by the Copernicus, as well as by others, something that related to astronomy, something that related to optics, something that related to philosophy, something that related to the natural science and medicines, and finally they are able to establish the modern science that we have today. Because we have to understand that the modern science that we have today not come suddenly like that, but have to develop from the past, known as integration between modern and the previous civilization. And no doubt when we come to the modern atomic revelation, which is very important step in order to understand the science around us. Therefore, we atomic revelations, right? This is Holy Quran mentioned about Az-Zarra. So in scientific context, they are talking about atomic in order to have understand better and better about the concept of atom. We have to destroy at least two fundamental assumptions of the Aristotle physics, which has been developed or advanced by Imam Al-Ghazali. We have also to understand the concept of space, right? We have to understand the concept of the existence of void, whether it is possible or not. And finally, one of the findings say that the existence of a void was impossible because nature abhor a vacuum, because the understanding about the modern atomic concept. And finally, no doubt, the transmission of Indian or Greek mathematics and astronomy via Arab scholars to Europe become a very important means in order to understand better and better about today's civilization in our context among the Muslims. We want try our best to have what we call the very good intellectual advancement. Finally, I would like to say here, it is found that Islamic civilizational contributions must play an important role in the emergence and the birth of modern intellectual advancement. In other words, modern intellectual advancement is neither a uniquely European cultural intellectual achievement, nor purely Greek intellectual, though, but was born as a result of integration of similar civilizations, most notably Islamic intellectual civilization advancement and thought. I think this is all my presentation today. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.